because I said it on the podcast. I was like, I'm gonna read this book by the end of the month. But yeah, like you're saying, like you say you're gonna do something on the podcast. It's like, dude, now I have to do it.
I was having a conversation with ChatGTP last night. That sounds so weird.
You're a psychopath.
I am a psychopath. No.
Like her voice is almost like nails on a chalkboard. Not saying her points are wrong. What she says is great, but listening to her for some reason, like, it hurts my ears. Sorry, I don't know.
I would not recommend this book then, bro.
She reads the book.
She reads the book, but well, you can read the book. I would not listen to the book for you, bro. But no, pickleball gets well over. Oh my goodness! Gets well over 500,000. You want to take a guess on how many?
3 million a month.
That's actually pretty close. Like I would say, pretty like. That's a big jump, and you're not too off because it's 8.4 million searches per month. Pickleball gets searched 8.4 million times a month on Google.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Buckhouse Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Johnathan Buckhouse. Right over there is Benjamin Buckhouse, my little brother, who is another host of this podcast. And this is where we get together once a week. We talk all things, everything. Basically, we go over social media, sports, video games, anything, and we just get together and catch up because that's the coolest part about this podcast. And I feel like I haven't talked to you in years, bro. We missed a week, my fault, and we're back. Here we are. How you doing, bro?
I'm all over the place. I'm not gonna beat around the bush with that. I'm all over the place. I'm doing a lot of self-discovery again, as per usual, and I feel like I'm on the up right now, though. I'm having a lot of real conversations with myself. I'm having a lot of real conversations with my wife, Kirsty, and I'm really looking forward to this weekend of just like what's coming up and everything like that. I'll be honest. Last weekend was Easter, and Kirsty and I went to a new church and just for like the Easter service, and we actually really liked it. And then they were discussing like their next, kind of upcoming week's services, what that's going to be like. And I don't know, it just kind of sit well. Like it just like spoke to me. So we're actually going to visit the church again this weekend. So I'm excited for that and everything. Yeah, I'm excited for change. I feel like I still am in a rut since leaving 75 hard. If you guys do not know, I finished 75 hard in later March, like March 23rd, so quite literally a month ago from this recording. And I went from like being the most disciplined I've ever been to then having like back to having freedom to like not be disciplined. And it actually was just like I hit a wall, and I've been struggling to stay disciplined. And so yeah, I feel like I was in a rut for like a little bit, but I'm feeling good now, feeling like I'm getting out of it. I'm getting back into routines and patterns, and I'm excited. It's been a tough month. They don't talk about that when they talk about 75 hard. They don't talk about the after effects. But no, I'm looking forward to what's next.
I say you kind of came out of 75 hard in a pretty rough time frame, if that makes sense, because it's not summer yet, but it's starting to get warm. You're kind of in that, like, even though it's not as dramatic in Colorado Springs, like up here in Summit County, like it's mud season. We're coming out of the winter. It's like I always get in this like weird rut around this time of the year, mainly also because my views completely disappear, start losing followers instead of gaining followers, all that type of stuff. I just like get into a rut around, not even say rut. Sometimes it's like a depression. You work so freaking hard all season long, and all of a sudden you like start losing thousands of subscribers. You're like, ugh, what is it gonna like stop or just like sustain? But like for you coming out 75 hard right into the like, well, it's still kind of cold, it's not really nice, like that could be a reason too.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, and I think that you are right, but just in a different aspect, because the weather, although the weather does affect me as a person, it's actually been really nice. And it was even kind of nice towards the end of my 75 hard, so it wasn't really like that big of a, like that wasn't impacting me that much. Really what it was I think I didn't have a plan for after 75 hard. I didn't have like well, 75 hard is done. And I didn't have like a step-by-step, okay, now that I have this time back, because if you guys don't know what 75 hard is, I know that we talk about it a lot on this podcast, but if you're newer, you do 2 workouts a day that are at least 45 minutes each, 1 indoor, 1 outdoor. You have to read 10 pages of a book. You have to drink a gallon of water every day. You have to, eat a healthy diet, all this stuff. And so for starters, I had this mental checklist of what I'm going to do every single day. Every single day, I had this mental checklist of like, am I doing this? Am I doing this? Am I doing this? But then on top of that, you're so limited on time because you're spending pretty much an hour and a half to 2 hours, especially for drive time and everything, of like working out. And then on top of that, you can't just go to a restaurant to get whatever food you want. You have to make your food. And then on top of that, you're tired. So like you're just very limited on your time. And then when that all stopped and I had the freedom to be like, oh, I could sleep in today. I'm not going to go to the gym, or, oh, I want Taco Bell tonight. I'm going to go get Taco Bell. Like when that freedom came, I had no plan of like,
he had no next step. Like,
yeah, like I didn't have like the next step, or I didn't have other limitations on myself or expectations for myself. So it honestly was, this sounds like an excuse, but it's just like allowed me just to be lazy and do whatever. And I'm not proud of that. It's just, this was the first time I've done a challenge to this extent. And so it was like a learning curve.
So it sounds like you're just learning. I mean, life is one, you have a lot, like you're pretty young. I'm not saying I'm old. I'm about to sneeze. But yeah, you just did something extremely hard, something really good for you. And then you came out of it, and then you're struggling with discipline, you're struggling with the eating healthy, all that type of stuff. And like, that's so common. That's why they say health is a journey. It's not easy. If it was easy to just be healthy, everyone would do it. It's very, very hard. So one, just completing 75 hard, like to do that in a year period is amazing. And then to have a month or 2 bad months after, to then get back into like a normal-ish, like human capability of balancing, working out, eating right. Like even people that eat right 70% of the time, there's still that 30% of the time where they're not eating right. And that's like, it's as long as you're out, your good eating is outweighing your bad eating, as long as your good activities are outweighing your bad activities. That's how you can like maintain being a healthier human.
Yeah. No, I've most definitely, like, I've still been going to the gym. It's just that there's been larger gaps between the days. So like, for instance, I was going every day to then my goal before 75 hard was never missing more than 2 days in a row, to then now I've missed like 3 and even 4 days in a row. And like so I'm still going to the gym. I'm not at the point that I want to be at right now, because I've got a goal right now of being bigger. I'll just outright say it. My goal is to weigh 200 pounds of muscle. Like that's a goal of mine, and that's going to be very difficult for a couple reasons. Number one, it's going to be very difficult because you have to eat a lot. You have to consume a lot of protein. You gotta consume a lot of calories to kind of get to that point, especially if you're, I'm not naturally that heavy. Like it's hard for me to get to that point. But so, I have that goal, and if I'm not working out as much, and if I'm not consuming the right foods, then yeah, I'm not going to get to that point. So, I'm not where I'm at with it, or I'm not where I want to be with it, but at least I'm still like, I'm going, I haven't just outright stopped or anything like that. So I'm
Sounds like you just need to create a new checklist, or like not as like strict as 75 hard, but like, this is the new routine. This is the new thing that I'm doing.
No, 100%. And I've really put some thought into that of like, what do this was a book that Kirsten and I started to read. I know that it's a book that, or I think you've read this book. But our sister Ashley highly recommends this book for pretty much everybody in life. But it's called The Four Tendencies, and it's basically just the way that your brain operates and how you kind of receive feedback or receive direction, and how to properly give that direction to other people based off of their tendencies. And in the book they were talking about how so
You should just say the four tendencies real quick.
yeah, so the four tendencies are, I just got the book, we literally just read it last night. So
It's an upholder.
four tendencies are an upholder, which meets outer expectations and inner expectations, meaning you can uphold to your own expectations and someone else's expectations. An obliger meets other people's expectations but not their own expectations. A rebel resists both outer and inner expectations. And then a questioner resists outer expectations but meets their inner expectations. And as I'm just saying that, you may be able to kind of think of yourself and be like, oh yeah, I can uphold a challenge for myself, but if somebody else wants me to do that challenge, like, no, I don't want to do it. Or if you're like, some people are the rebels where you can't even uphold your own expectations, and if someone else tells you to do it, there's no way that you're going to do it because screw that. Like, or you're the upholder where you're like, I've got no problem meeting any expectation, right? So with that,
I am an upholder.
see, I haven't figured out exactly where I'm at, but I think I'm a rebel that leans towards an obliger. So basically, I resist inner expectations for myself, and then I also will resist outer expectations. But at the same time, I know that having somebody that relies on me it helps me meet expectations. For instance, I'll be honest, if Johnathan and I, when we started the 130-day challenge of snowboarding, if Johnathan wasn't there, there's probably no way I would have done that. But because Johnathan was there, like pushing me, and I was doing that with Johnathan, it helped me do that. And then when it came to 75 hard, I was doing that with my wife, but then also I was very talkative about that on the podcast. So I almost used the podcast as an outer expectation. Like I was going to meet this challenge for you guys type of thing. So yeah, it's been
funny.
It's been a journey.
Because on that note, I was like, I'm going to read this book before the end of the month. I have 7 days, a week left to do it. So I will get it done. My world blew up last week. That's why we didn't do the podcast. I don't want to get into it, but I had a very personal thing happen that kind of blew my life up. But man, I was crushing this book. I was actually ahead. I was like, I want to finish this book before, even days before the end of the month. Because I said it on the podcast. I was like, I'm going to read this book by the end of the month. So today I have making up to do. I have a big reading session. But yeah, like you're saying, like you say you're going to do something on the podcast. It's like, now I have to do it.
Yeah, the podcast holds us to it. I just want to finish up what I was kind of saying about this though. So like the Four Tendencies book. So like I said, my wife and I, Kirsty, have been having some real conversations, and included in that is like we were reading that book together. Like literally we sat on the couch and I read it out loud, and we just read the first chapter together. Right. And it's because not only do I want to grow, but I want her to grow, and I want us to grow together. And this book in particular, The Four Tendencies, like I said, it talks about yourself and how to kind of motivate yourself to go through the world, like how to strategize your life to your tendency. If you're like me who struggles with inner expectations, there's ways for you to still meet those expectations, and that's what this book is going to help you with. But then also it's going to allow my wife, who is different than me, I don't know what her tendency exactly is, but let's say she's an obliger or whatever, she's going to be, or a upholder, she can then see myself and go, well, he's a rebel, so I need to communicate to him this way in order for him to receive that information well, right? So overall, it seems like a very good book for relationships, and I know that our older sister recommended it, especially for children, raising children, because she lives with a rebel. Her daughter is a rebellious person and struggles with those expectations, but my sister read this book and has now been able to communicate to her on how to motivate her to do stuff, right? So it seems really good. But the other thing that I know that I need to work on, and oddly enough, I'm not joking, I was having a conversation with ChatGPT last night, and that sounds so weird, but really what it was is I had some questions, and so I started asking, and then
You're a
I am a
psychopath.
psychopath. No, I had some questions, and then they kind of like needed additional information, and then I explained like, oh yeah, I've been struggling because like I did 75 hard, and then now I feel undisciplined or whatever. And it was actually a really interesting, like, call me a psychopath. I don't
You're
care,
a
because it was actually a
psychopath.
really, dude, it's really fascinating what they were saying. And like, one of the things that it said though, in this like stuck with me, and I know that this is like this ChatGPT said it, and I was like, this is actually really good information. Uh, and it's pretty much what you were just saying, bro. It says, uh, you've already proven to yourself you can be ridiculously disciplined. You finished 75 hard. That version of you didn't disappear. He's still there, just adjusting to a new chapter that requires a different kind of strength, grace, not just grit. And that last part, like a different kind of strength, grace, not grit. Dude, I know that that's exactly what I need, because I am not giving myself grace. I am beating myself up. I have these expectations I set for myself, and I'm not meeting them, and I'm just constantly like in my head, just self-destructing myself. But yeah, like it was, hearing that was very interesting.
Isn't it funny how once you start going down the rabbit hole of like, oh, I didn't do that, you start avoiding it, and it gets worse and worse, and you get more and more mad at yourself that you're not doing the thing you know you're supposed to be doing, but you're like
Dude,
totally avoiding it.
dude.
That's me, my emails. For sure. I'm like, I have this really important email I got to get to. I should have got to it like 3 days ago. So I'm just like not going to get to it today because I should have done it 3 days ago. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. I should get to it right now.
Dude, that is actually exactly where I'm at. Is just like the struggle of like avoidance. And I've called myself out on the distractions I've been putting in front of myself. So I've like been putting my distractions like literally away, such as I started playing my Switch more, my Nintendo Switch more, and I literally was like, no, I can't do this. Like I this, enough is enough. Like I've been avoiding other things so much, so that I went ahead and like put my Switch away and stuff like that. And no, it's the task avoidance is real for me right now. And it's funny because another book I actually just finished, as an audiobook, which I think is an incredible book, is called The 5 Second Rule by Mel Robbins. And it's honestly as simple as you think. The book is a lot more powerful than the rule, though.
I struggle with her hearing her in video. Like her voice is almost like nails on a chalkboard for me. Not saying her points are wrong. What she says is great. But listening to her for some reason, like, it hurts my ears. Sorry. I know that was a side
No,
tangent,
you're good. Well, then, bro,
she's Tony Robbins, this is his wife.
I would not recommend this book then, bro.
She reads the book.
She reads the book, but well, you can read the book. I would not listen to the book for you, bro. But no, I actually don't mind her voice at all. But no, she like I said, this 5 second rule is as simple as you think. 5 seconds, you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you do the task that you're trying to avoid. It sounds so simple, but she touches on it so much more, and like the psychology and behind it and everything in her book. And it's an incredible book.
You know, that's how I do snowboard tricks that I don't want to do.
You count down.
Yeah, from 5 to 1.
So yeah, the whole concept is if you really think that, you know, like, or if like she really pushes to like act on instinct, and this 5 second rule helps you with that. So if you're like, oh, I should be doing this, but then all of a sudden your brain's like, but I'm going to focus on this instead. If you can catch yourself doing that, you then just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you go and do that thing that you're going to like, that you know you should do. And it changes people's lives and everything. So if you guys are struggling with that task avoidance, I would highly recommend this book for you. But something that she said that,
You know, it's funny. You can write a whole book around one concept of counting from 5 to 1 and then doing what you're supposed to do.
yeah. No, like I said, she dives a lot more into the psychology of it, and then also has a lot of testimonies from people that like have wrote to her and everything. It's a really good book. There's a lot more about it. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at before Johnathan stops interrupting me now is she talks about how there's been studies on procrastination, and procrastination isn't a form of laziness, but it's a form of task avoidance due to stress. And hearing that was like, dang, that makes so much sense, because I do know that as I get more stressed in life, that's when I want to avoid more tasks. And that just feeds into more stress and more difficulties in life and everything. And it's a self-destructive path that you go on in that process. So yeah.
It's so funny too, because the way to get unstressed is to like accomplish things and do things, even if it's small. Like, so if don't want to work, if I'm feeling like, I just come in the office and I'll like pick it up. And like that one small win, like jump starts the rest of the things. And so like with emails, like I definitely struggle with emails the most. So with like emails, it's like, okay, I just need to go into my email and just delete the like junk mail. So it starts there. And then all of a sudden, like, I open up an email and I like reply to it real quick. And then then I go down like a quick, like, knock out 30 email chain type thing. So, but like starting with one small task of like just delete the junk mail, and then you get some momentum, and then you start building that momentum, and all of a sudden you just have like a killer work day.
Yeah. No, it is funny that it's like the thing that's causing you the most stress is the thing that you're avoiding, and then it just is a cycle. But no,
the worst part is when the thing causing you stress is your family.
Dude,
like, and you can't avoid them because they need to eat, because you gotta go make them food, or like,
dude, I know it's not the same to everybody, but like my the dog that we have he's a dachshund. He's such an animal, dude. And I don't mean that like, yes, in a literal way, but like, dude, he's psychotic. And just like yesterday, I get home and he's super excited to see me and everything, and he's like running around and he rips this thing off the table, and like it's just this stressful mess. And I was just like, dude, I grabbed him. I was like, I need you to not cause stress in my life right now. I was like, that's the number one thing I need you not to do. Of course, he doesn't know what I'm saying, but I was like, dude, I just need you to calm down. I do not need you to cause more stress. Yeah, like the dude's a beast. And then I've got Shadow over here just doing his thing. So
no, it's like kids bring you so much joy and so much stress at the same time. Like Bristol woke up at 3 a.m. last night, puking, pooping. She got the norovirus. I love how it always gives like a week in between kids. Like Roman gets it, we go a week. Bristol gets it. It's like, it's awful, but that causes so much stress in the household for the whole day, because now like constantly, hey, she's going to the bathroom 17 times, and where she normally only goes like twice a day, like she barely goes, and then she's throwing up all day, so you're like running from one room to the other to catch her throw up, all these things. Then all of a sudden it's like I get an email like, hey, like, we missed your call today. I was supposed to get on the phone with like an ad agency, and I'm like, oh, like, stress brought to you by a little human that fully depends on you. Like, it's like, I don't know what to do. You gotta do it. Like,
dude, that is tough. No,
I also went 6 days without snowboarding, which is my longest stretch in 2025. Some people, that's like normal, but like obviously that was odd for me. That was pretty brutal.
That really is like a normal kind of thing for people, because they may go like once a weekend or whatever. So yeah, like 6 day stretch, like that's the average stretch, and here you are like, it's the first time I've done it all year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm crushing my goal for hitting 200 days in the year 2025. But like mainly I missed 6 days because of Easter and everything like that. But my world blew up right before Easter, so then I missed the 3 days prior to going down to Colorado Springs, and then when we came back, another thing happened where I couldn't go out, and so I was just like, dude, I'm losing my mind. And because I have this goal, this like self-inflicted, I put it on myself, like, you're riding 200 days in 2025, and I know how hard it is, especially if I got to get 16 days a month to hit that goal. Well, there's a lot of months where you can't snowboard for 16 days. I'll be able to get like 8 or 10, I'll be able to get good chunks of riding in July, August, September, And depending on how early the season starts, I can get a good amount of October days. But if I on these months where I can go technically all 31 days in the month, I gotta stack those extra days. And so when I'm missing 6 in a row, I'm in my head. I'm telling myself, you're screwing up. You better get out there and all this stuff. And like, it's it's funny because by setting a goal like riding 200 days, I set a goal. It's a challenge. It's going to be good. I'm going to grow a lot from this goal. But sometimes the goal isn't what you need to be doing. There's a lot of days where like I shouldn't go snowboard. I should actually like do office work, or I should do this or that. But I'm like, nope, I'm going riding. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it seems like a different version of task avoidance for you, where it's like instead of you just outright doing nothing, it's like you are using it as a goal. You're like, I'm still working towards a goal. I'm still working towards a goal. But in this exact moment in time, it's like for your business and for other goals, you should probably be going through those emails or whatever. Like it's a different form of task avoidance for you.
I really struggled with that this year, especially once I lost Cody, where there's a lot of days it's like, yo, I shouldn't go snowboarding. I should stay in here and get this edit done. I was like, no, I gotta go snowboard. Like I do all of this so I can snowboard. So go snowboard. And everything else will fall in line.
Yep, it's the epitome of that work hard, play hard though,
No, totally. Well, and it's funny because sometimes you can't see how good the year was until like you're standing far away looking back, you know? And so like by this time of the year, my nest egg for going into the summer's pretty built up. I've collected the majority of like my ad payments and YouTube money and all that type of stuff. Now my money is gonna start dwindling and whatnot. And so like I get to look at my nest egg and see like how successful the year was. I get to look at how much fun I had, like what kind of tricks I did, like all kinds of things. And looking back at this last year, despite feeling like I was failing and the world was crumbling down and I wasn't getting edits out and all this type of stuff, it was a freaking good year.
I was gonna say, bro, I know that you've talked about how difficult it's been, but it really seems like you've had a killer year. And I know that it's easier when you have a filmer, and it's better when you have a filmer, but you've traveled to multiple countries, you've traveled to different parts of the United States, you've done a lot of really cool stuff, and on top of that, like your content is still doing well. And I know that you still beat yourself up about the finances, but like you're still killing it, dude. Like you're still doing a great job. And then it also seems like, yeah, you're still accomplishing a lot of goals. And yeah, it seems like you've had a phenomenal year. So I know that it's been tough without Cody, but yeah.
Arguably I've had like one of the best years. And I think a lot of it is just this year was full of change, like so much change. Changed my style of content, changed from having a full-time filmer to filming myself, changed from getting daily vlogs out to just focusing on short form. There's just like an absurd amount of change. So it was like, I would say ripping the Band-Aid off, but like change is uncomfortable. So as much as it's not like I might have been like, I'm messing up, I'm doing this, I'm that. Truly what it probably was is I just have been uncomfortable all year. I'm not doing anything wrong. Things are going in the right direction. Things are going great. I just have felt super uncomfortable because of the sheer amount of change.
Yeah, and it's cliche and everything, but that like, growth happens when you're the most uncomfortable, or like pushing yourself into that, or sorry, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is when change happens, and when like that's when growth happens and everything. So yeah, like I think that this year was a challenge for you, but it was a really healthy year for you. It was hard, it was difficult, it was a challenge, you were uncomfortable the entire time, but for personal growth reasons, I think it was great, because it takes you back to, it's not that you've done the solo videos in the past, but not for this long. Like you've always had somebody there to help you. whether it was me, whether it was Daniel, whether it was another YouTuber, whether
Benton.
exactly, like you always had someone else there to help you. And so to then go back to like just relying on yourself and occasionally having the ski doc help you or whatever, like, it was hard. I bet it was hard. And I'm sure you grew a lot this year, bro.
Yeah. It was a good year. I'm excited. And I love the big calendar. I keep looking at it on like right now. I look at my big calendar all the time. And like I get to relive month. I literally can like look in a month and like quickly relive it. And like I do colors. So like I mark all my snowboard days green. When I accomplish a goal, I mark it blue. Like when I do something important that's like, it might not be riding, but it's like something that was really important that needed to get done, I mark it in brown. Like there's all these like color schemes and things that I put on there, and I put a little like what happened that day, like a little like reminder. So I'd be like, why did I take 6 days off? And I put like my life blew up for 3 days, and it's like, yeah, that sucked.
I am not going to beat around the bush and just say I have that big calendar. And even right now, I'm staring in my room and I'm like, or my office, and I'm like, I don't know where I could put that in here. So I still have yet to have.
Put it over the whiteboard.
Well, I'm using the whiteboard.
Put it under the whiteboard.
It could probably fit under the whiteboard. I'll figure it out.
Do it. Put it up today. That's what you need, bro. And you can like highlight all of your gym days.
Yeah. I'll figure something out. I will. I promise.
Do it.
By next week.
You have a big calendar and you're missing 1/4 or 1/3.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cut that third off.
Probably. That'd probably be a good move.
Well, it'll also make the calendar smaller to where it'll fit there better. But no, I still need to hang that. That is my own thing.
Cut it. You could bend. If you have the same one I got, because the top has like where you can write goals in and all types of stuff. Bobby's calling me. Hold on. Bristol needs me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go check on her.
While Johnathan has to go assist with Bristol as she's still not feeling well, we're going to jump into kind of a new segment of the podcast for season 2. So when Johnathan gets back, we'll jump right into it, as it'll be a good transition for us. But we're gonna play a game. It's not a new game or anything, but it's called the Over Under game. And with it, it involves Google searches on whether it's or a topic for Google searches on whether it's over or under a certain amount. So as an example, it's like, does snowboarding get over or under 100,000 searches per month? Or skateboarding or video games or this or that, or picking your nose, like what gets over or under these searches per month. And it's going to be kind of like it's a segment we're trying. It's gonna be a little fun thing where we kind of talk about, or I'll be asking Johnathan the questions. He'll kind of give us his reasons, his thought process, so on and so forth, and then we'll go ahead and get the answer, get the reveal, and see if he's right. So it'll be a fun little game for us. Play along as well while you're listening, and yeah, it'll be fun for us to just vibe with. Let's get to it. All right, bro. The first one for our I'm gonna make a joke about our older audience here is gonna appreciate this one. Does the term pickleball get over or under 500,000 Google searches each month?
Over.
You think over? What is your reasoning there?
It's like it's insanely popular.
Yeah. I've
like to the masses.
I've only played pickleball once. It was there was this really cool bar in Colorado Springs that actually ended up closing. It was called like North Side Social or whatever, and it's so funny because it's actually where we met some of our really good friends now, Travis and Misha, who like literally they were at my wedding, and like they're really good friends with our older brother Tyler and stuff. We met them at this place and ended up closing, but that was the only time I ever played pickleball, and it was fun. I haven't gone too much into it, but I know it's like taking over the world. But let's go ahead and see if you were right. Pickleball gets well over. Oh my goodness! Gets well over 500,000. You want to take a guess on how many?
3 million a month.
That's actually pretty close. Like I would say, pretty like. That's a big jump, and you're not too off, because it's 8.4 million searches per month. Pickleball gets searched 8.4 million times a month on Google.
Target has a whole aisle for pickleball.
Dude, pickleball is taking over the world right now, it seems. Like, so many people are into it.
Me and Bobby like to play it with the kids.
I could see that. I've like I said, I haven't played in a while, but all right, bro. Next one, similar concept. Disc golf. Does disc golf get over or under 200,000 searches per month?
200,000. I want to say like barely under.
You think barely under? Okay.
It's popular, but it's more like hipstery. So it's not mainstream. So it's like I could totally see it getting that much. I could also see it like getting way less in the winter.
I see what you're saying because like it is a more outdoorsy. Like pickleball, when I played it, it was indoor. Like it was during the winter, and they had like a kind of a tent that went over us, and we were able to like, you know, go in there and avoid the cold weather and everything. Like it wasn't that big of a deal. Whereas disc golf is very similar to like real golf, where you kind of need to have an open area for it. So, you know, I do see what you're saying. But I think it's not too far off, but it actually averages 300 to 400,000 searches per month, depending on the season. And it does say that it does with spikes in spring and summer. So like during the winter, it does dip down, but still it averages that 300 to 400,000. So I see your concept there. But
yeah, I'll say I thought it was a little less, but okay, a little more.
Yeah, just a little bit more, like literally 100 to 200,000 more. But I mean, disc golf is I feel like it's been around a lot longer than pickleball. So the fact that pickleball gets 8.4 million searches a month, more than that, just shows that people are into that new hobby. But what about foam roller? Foam roller, bro. That's if you guys are not aware of that, that's that kind of like literally like foam roll, like cylinder roll that you use to like, you know, stretch out a muscle or kind of get some soreness out of your muscles, that type of stuff. Does it get over or under 100,000 Google searches each month?
Over, for sure.
I agree. I think over for sure. It's such a popular item and it's been around for so long, and like gym and fitness is such a popular thing that like there's no way it's not over 100,000. I agree. Yeah, we were right. Averages 246,000 Google searches per month.
Even that feels low, but yeah.
I do feel like that does seem like a low amount, the foam roller, because like I said, it's such a popular thing, and it does say like peaks for 301,000 in months like February and April. That's funny that it says that. So it says peaks reaching 301,000, so pretty much like 50,000 more searches in months like February and April. I don't know why April, but February makes sense because it's the second month of the year, so people start New Year's resolutions in January, and if they do stick to them, they're like, oh, I want to lose weight or whatever, so they're going to the gym, they're working out, they're feeling sore, so then in February, they're like, what's a foam roller, and how do I not feel sore anymore?
How do I stop being sore?
Yeah, so like the fact that it says that peaks are like February, that makes sense. April, I have no idea why it peaks in April, but that's funny that February is like a higher month for it. Let's diversify it a little bit, bro. Does the term Taylor Swift get over or under 1 million Google searches each month?
Like 7 million more.
7 million? 7 million more?
Especially the last 2-3 years. Absolutely. Absolutely way more.
I do agree that she's getting more than 1 million Google searches a month. 7 is a lot, but I will say I think that like when it was not this last football season, but the football season before that, where she just started dating Travis Kelce and she was the hot topic and everything, I do think that she was getting, I think that was like a 7 million search each time, you know, like every month, because how popular she was. Yeah, but this last football season, I think it's calmed down quite a bit. But I think that I agree with you. I think that Taylor Swift gets more than 1 million Google searches a month. Well over 1 million. You were actually really close, bro. She approximately hits 5 million monthly searches in the United States.
She's like the biggest pop star right now. Of course she does.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty gimmicky, but at the same time, like 1 million searches is a lot. Like that's a lot of searches, especially like I know Taylor Swift. I mean, I don't really have a reason to search her, but it's like I'm just thinking of like our older sister Sarah. I doubt that she's searching Taylor Swift particularly, even though she's a big fan of her, because like I don't know, like I feel like she's very popular, but that still is a lot of people searching. 5 million? That's a lot of people searching. All right, let's get this last one in, bro. Does the term Wordle get over 1 million Google searches each month? Do you know what Wordle is?
No.
It was like that game where it's got like 5 letters and you have to guess what the word is by typing in the letters. Do you know what I'm saying?
How many searches?
Get over or under 1 million Google searches a month.
I'm purely guessing. I'm going to say under.
You're going to say under. So I'm a little bit more familiar with Wordle, so I'm going to say I actually think it gets over 1 million Google searches each month because so Wordle is a daily game that comes out, and it's essentially like a 5-letter word that you then have to guess it by like if you type in, let's say, house, and then it tells you which letters are correct or which letters are correct but in the wrong location, and then you have to like process of elimination figure it out, and you have a certain amount of attempts. And it's like a daily thing, and it was really popular at one point, but I could see it being over 1 million Google searches each month because I think that a lot of people don't necessarily have that tab like saved. They continuously, almost like every day, search Wordle, like Wordle of the day or whatever. And so like it, because it's a daily thing, I think that some people are searching it on a regular basis. Sorry, I got the hiccups there, but because it's a daily thing.
That makes sense. Also, I think people have no idea what it is, so they're searching what the hell is a Wordle.
Yeah, but because it's a daily thing, I think that the same person searches it close to 20 times a month. So I think it's going to be over. Let's see what the answer is. Survey says you're absolutely right. Holy crap! The term Wordle receives approximately 55.6 million Google searches per month in the United States.
So you're right. People are searching it often.
Yeah, it's like because it's a daily thing, people are searching it so much. Really what it is 1 million people, or actually probably more like 2 million people are searching it every single day. And so that's why it's 55.6 million searches per month. That's insane.
All right. So for all the kids out there, you want to put the word Wordle in your YouTube handle.
Dude, seriously.
And your YouTube channel will get searched.
Yeah.
53 million.
Talk about Wordle, and you'll be in that algorithms a lot more. That's funny that that's almost a way of doing it. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that segment. I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
See, I thought it was gonna be like you have a 12-foot tall brick fence. Do you go over or under it?
There's a troll under the bridge, but the bridge is on fire. Do you go over or under the bridge?
Yeah, over or under.
Yeah, and let us know what you guys think of that. I just thought it was a fun little way for us to kind of have a small segment where we can just play along at home and in the podcast studio that is not a studio at all. But anyways, yeah. No, bro, I was gonna say, speaking of algorithms and everything, I noticed that you were for a brief moment, pushing your Susie videos. His dog Susie, who's a mountain dog that goes snowboarding with him. You were kind of pushing that pretty hard, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I still actually have a ton of Susie videos, but she is a beast. And then all the animal activists jump in and tell me that having a dog outside running is abuse, which doesn't really make any sense to me. And also the fact that people can know her breed by the speck of black running behind me as I snowboard is also very impressive. The internet, man, they just know it all.
Yeah, to give you guys a quick recap, Johnathan posted a couple of videos of him snowboarding down a mountain with his snow dog chasing him behind him, which that's the whole purpose of Johnathan getting this dog, is to help, or is to kind of be out there with him during these kind of sketchier terrains, like avalanche terrains, backcountry missions, that stuff. And it's like, that's the whole purpose of this dog. And she loves it. You can see the video. She loves it. But yeah, every time Johnathan posted a video, it's got people in the comments being like, you're mistreating her, blah, blah. And it's, yeah, like everyone seems to know everything about dogs as soon as they see a video about it. But
I mean, it's very 50-50. Like, it's like a lot of things in this world. Like half the people are like, hell yeah, that dog rocks, and then they're like fighting with other people, like, you don't like, dogs don't belong in fences, like dogs belong like free, all types of stuff like that. And if anyone's wondering, her breed is an Australian Mountain Doodle. So she's an Australian Shepherd primarily. She's a mini, so she's not going to get over 35 pounds. I think she's going to actually top out at 30 pounds. And then she's got Bernese Mountain Dog in her, so she has like massive paws, like a really thick undercoat for being in cold weather. And same thing with the Doodle, is just to like help improve that coat. So like literally like in the winter, she'll go outside. She'll be like, I want to go outside. We put her outside. It'll be like a blizzard. She'll like lay in the snow and like just start chewing on a stick, and it's just like a husky would just like be outside. Like doesn't bug her.
Yeah. It's dogs are crazy. Like so our older brother has a husky, a adorable husky named Walter. But yeah, our older brother says that when it's like the negative temperatures outside, the dog wants to be outside and refuses. The husky wants to be outside and refuses to come inside. He's like, no, I'm staying outside. This is my native area right now.
Well, it's frustrating too, because people will be like, shouldn't be running your dog. You're gonna hurt your dog's joints. Like, dog this, that. I'm like, dude, have you never seen Balto, dude? Like, there's dogs that like pull sleds. Like, there's dogs that are just built different. And I purposely found a breeder to find a built different dog to go experience the backcountry with me.
Yeah, and I could see, like, I'm not saying that what you're doing is wrong, but like I could see some people's argument where they're like, some people are just like, hey, my only recommendation is like because how young she is to not work her so hard. And like I could see that, but at the same time, like you've been active with her leading up to us. It's not like you just threw her out into the backcountry and was like, okay, go figure it out. Like, you've been doing other things with her. But it's like, we got Shadow literally right behind me. I don't know if we can see him on the camera right now, but there you are, buddy. Shadow, like, he needs activity for his joints. He needs to be going on walks, and he needs to run every now and then. Like, he needs that experience, even though he's an older dog, because like that's healthy for them to be moving those joints and everything. So,
well, also like, dogs need to live too. Like, there's so many dogs that are just stuck in people's backyards, or like don't actually get to live. They're animals, like, to live a life of an animal, and it's, I don't know, it's one of those things where I look at the dog does circles around me going up the mountain, and then the descent is like such a small amount. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not like we we didn't go run 1,000 yards,
Yeah. No. I'm just like, I like have one of the videos kind of playing in front of me, and like, dude, she loves it, dude. She loves it.
Oh, dude. The amount of like sprinting and running that doesn't get put on the camera. Like, we'll be like almost to the top of the mountain, and when it gets steeper, like, you'll like move some snow and it'll roll down the mountain, and she'll like chase the snowballs like down the whole, and you're like, Susie, no, like, come back. And then she's gonna like run right up the hill again, like, but like a straight up, and like, she's so funny. But she, like, if I come inside of my snowboard pants, she freaks out. She's like, "Are we going? We going snowboard?" And she like does like zoomies and circles, and like she gets so hyped if I'm in my snowboard pants because she thinks she's going snowboarding.
Dude, I'm just watching the video where you like go off the little cornice, like a little kind of like jump or whatever.
She dives.
Yeah, she like dives off, but you can tell that she like lands, but then like kind of falls a little bit and then gets back up, and like, oh, dude, it's so. Dogs love, like, I think dogs love being with somebody. Like, they love that more than anything. Like, Shadow loves just being with me. Right now, he's in my office, just laying next to me. He's got his own bed, but he still is laying next to me because that's just what he wants to do. He has a like kind of more comfortable bed in our bedroom where he could be laying next to my wife and everything, but he chooses just to be with me, and he will always choose that. And there's days where I can tell where like Shadow just needs alone time with me, and that sounds crazy, but like he literally just needs him and I to go and do something. Like, even if it's just him and I going on a small walk, or if I take him to the grocery store with me, like, he just needs that time with me, and that means so much to these dogs. And so yeah, like, if Susie sees you in the snowboard pants, like, I'm sure that she loves going snowboarding and loves running as much as she does, but also it's just like she's just with you, and like she just vibes with that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I don't know, I think before we created these wild breeds that like like fully depend on humans to take care of them, like dogs were more than just a companion. I mean, and like, I mean, you still see today certain breeds, like they're tools, they help herd sheep and all that type of stuff. Like dogs had a much bigger purpose than just being cuddle buddies,
No, 100%. I think the term you're looking for, I believe, is like domesticated. So before they became domesticated, yeah, they were wild creatures that like they lived in the snow. Like that was their thing. They lived in packs in the snow, like wolves kind of and everything. And like they lived out in nature. And then also, yeah, like there's the working dogs, there's cattle dogs, there's the sled pulling dogs up in like the northern parts of the world and even southern parts. So yeah, like, dogs are meant to be worked, and they're meant to be out in nature. They're meant to be, running and everything. Yeah, like we're not supposed to have chihuahuas.
Their lives are so short, so it's like I'd rather work Susie to death and let her have like the best life ever, and maybe she does pass at 10-12 years, then like keep her in a house. Her life drags. She like always wants to do something, but I never take her to do anything, and then she just dies at 16 years old of just being bored to death.
Yeah, well, better to give him a life worth living than a longer life that's not worth living. So
she dies in an avalanche. She died doing what she loved. I don't know what to tell you.
Indeed. Well,
it's a much better life lived.
It's gonna get a little morbid in the podcast, so I think right now is a good time to start wrapping things up. But no, I think you're right, bro. I think that giving her a lot of fun is the right path to go on. But no, I think that we killed this podcast, bro. I think it was a lot of fun. I think we had a lot of personal growth, personal talk, and then also a lot of fun with the conversation. I don't know about you, bro.
I enjoyed it. I enjoy you. I'm happy to be back, and let's keep this show on the road.
Well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being a part of the conversation down below. Please do leave your comments. Please be a part of the conversation. We really do appreciate that. Gives us something to talk about the next podcast, especially if you disagree with us. If you are one of those people that are going to talk about how Susie should not be going on the mountain, we're probably going to disagree with you, and that's totally fine because opinions are opinions. Everyone has the right to one, even if it's wrong. Just kidding. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast. Please drop a like, comment down below, subscribe, share with a friend, share with your family, share with everybody. We really do appreciate you guys. Got anything else to say, bro?
We should start a book together on the 1st and invite the podcast to read the book with us.
I will look into a book for us. Anyways, so look forward to that, guys. I may have it either linked down below at the end of this video because of like the logistics of posting stuff, or we will just talk about it next week in the podcast. So anyways, we will see you guys next week.
Follow our Instagram. We can post
on Instagram and maybe link down at the bottom of this. We will keep you guys updated. We will see you guys next week with another podcast. Peace.